Personally, I love a tower moment. A tower moment when everything in your life you feel like comes crashing down, you're there facing the music. And I know that might sound a little bit crazy to say I love that. And it's not necessarily the actual event that I am fascinated with, but it's the aftermath and the process that begins afterwards if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to be really, really honest with yourself and say, what is this here teaching me? Oftentimes, when we have this massive potential in life, when we're supposed to go and do big things or really reach this unlimited, authentic version of ourselves, the universe, when we get too comfortable or when we're not stepping up and tapping into the lessons and going through our evolutions and our own growth, it will start to tap us on the shoulder, right? It will say, hey, you're going a little bit off path. Come over here. Let's get back off path. First, it will tap you, then it will whisper, then it might yell. The next thing you know, if you're really not listening, it might grab you by the shoulders. And then last thing is you're going to hit the brick wall, right? You're going to hit rock bottom. So if you can look at it that way, instead of sometimes going into the victim mode when we find ourselves at low points in life, this always happens to me, life is so hard, that kind of ideology is going to keep you in the same space that you're in right now. We're here to switch the mindset. What is the universe trying to push you towards? Okay, so I want you to start reframing the place that you're in right now and say, okay, where is it trying to push me to grow into? So listen ahead. I'm going to give you 3 clear tools how you can really start to work with it right now and hopefully leave you feeling better by the time you click off of this video. The first step that I'm really going to encourage you to take in is to forgive yourself. Give yourself compassion in this moment. We're not here to pick ourselves apart. In my opinion, I don't think we came down here to be these perfect humans. I think it's supposed to be a little bit messy, and sometimes we just go a little bit too far the wrong way. So forgiving yourself in this process is going to be the best thing that you can do so that you can get clarity and start to begin to rise out of it. I always say that tower moments or rock bottom or these really painful times in our life are actually divine appointments. And there's something within them that is trying to help you move into a place of your life that if you do, like I said earlier, the work, the necessary work, you will find yourself farther down the road thanking yourself for going through this time. And I want you to know that some of the most successful people that I personally know or look up to have experienced some pretty low points in their life. And that's really, in my mind, I think sometimes some of the people that are actually supposed to really do so much good work in this world and go through so many transformations end up going through these lows. So the second tool that I want you to ask yourself in this moment is, what am I resisting? What am I resisting? And it could be a number of things. I see people that resist change. I see people that actually fear success sometimes, like there's a self-sabotaging factor that goes in when they reach a certain success point just because of what comes with success. But you got to ask yourself, what am I resisting? And know this, again, going back to the first point with forgiving yourself and giving yourself compassion, this isn't about being hard on yourself. This isn't about nitpicking yourself, but it's about being able to have a really heart-to-heart conversation with yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else. You know your story better than anybody else. And right now is about sitting and understanding how you got to where you're at now from a very neutral standpoint. And as you're going through this process, you got to say, okay, what am I resisting? There's something within you that has gotten, that you're so far away from, and maybe you're scared to come towards, that it's led you into this place. So having a heart-to-heart conversation with yourself, and I would say journaling, open book, mind dump, journaling, everything that has gotten you to this point. I want you to think about this moment that you're in, right? Where you feel like you're super lost, you don't know the way forward. How did I get here? How am I going to make it over there? Oftentimes, I want you to think about our trajectory moments, our moments of massive growth. You can think about it like a slingshot, okay? And when the universe wants to sling us forward, sometimes we have to go way back first, right? And so there's this moment of almost like a big exhale where you have to begin to let go of old ways of doing things before you can sling forward. So yes, the second part is all about really sitting with yourself, going inward, like a hibernation period for however long you think is necessary. Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, maybe it's a 3 months, a season, where you can bookmark, I'm going to get in a reflective period, give myself space to heal, to review, and at this date, I'm going to begin to make steps forward. But you give yourself this chunk of time to go inward and to pause, to rest. A lot of the times, especially with our society and our culture, we're in this hustle culture. We think if we're not producing, if we're not creating movement, if we're not creating success, that we're deemed unworthy or useless. And I want you to let that go. Let that go during this time. We must go through seasons in life, just like we do with the weather. The leaves, the trees, they must lose their leaves in order to grow newer ones. So you're in a shedding period. What are you resisting? Third and final step, create structures and goals. Okay, this is not about creating these big goals. I really want you just to keep it super small and realistic right now, and then being able to celebrate daily wins. You have to understand with a reinvention process, there must come a time where you're doing this rebirth process. And so you must create new structures, you must create new habits, new ways of being that take freaking time to embody. It takes time. You have to think about creating new habits in your brain almost like a barren field, okay? So when we're creating new habits, when you first do a new habit, maybe it's going to the gym, and you walk that path once and you turn around and maybe you can see just a couple of parts where the grass has parted, but you really can't see the path you just walked. The next day you show up and you walk it again and you turn around and you can see more of a path. As you further walk this path, maybe one day you see a dirt path, the next day you see a paved road, the next day it's 4 lanes, and before you know it, you're on a new highway with a new habit. It's not something that's a chore, it's a way of being. That's what is going to be happening in the beginning processes of you creating this new structure and new daily habits. You're creating a new way of being. It takes time, and I always say this, consistency is not sexy, but it is the secret sauce. And I always love the phrase too, is diamonds are created under pressure, and you probably are feeling that pressure right now. There's a reason. Lean into it, lean into it, lean into the discomfort, lean into all the feelings. Do not numb out, don't check out. I want you to be with it and find the tools and the support that helps you to process this time with more ease, right? For me, when I was going through my rock bottom moment 6 years ago, I found hot yoga. And I felt like I could go into that class. I found a teacher that I really resonated with, and she would speak these words. And sometimes I would find myself in the back of the class sobbing. But the sweat I felt like was so purifying and cleansing. I always heard what I needed to hear, and I was showing up for myself. When you show up for yourself, you can understand that you can bet on yourself and you build self-trust. And so oftentimes when we're at rock bottom, our self-confidence and self-worth is at a major low. So when you don't know where to go, right, there's this feeling of feeling lost. I want you just to focus on solely investing into yourself investing into your health routine, the foods that you're putting in the body. Notice how certain foods make you feel. When you have a big load of sugar, do you feel foggy? Do you feel depressed? Do you feel lethargic? When you have a big green salad and your body's craving it, do you feel energized and clear and like your self-worth has risen because you're doing something that's honoring yourself? So while you're creating these new structures and daily habits, I want you to mainly focus it around investing into yourself, investing into your self-care, and then investing into your personal growth, whether it's finding a therapist, whether it's finding a coach, a course. Where can you tap your resources into a place that is going to expand you? So just to rewind, 3 simple tools that I really want you just to focus on right now. Forgive yourself, okay? Give yourself compassion. Ask yourself, what am I resisting? Go inward, integrate, hibernate. And then third and final thing, create structure and daily habits. Small wins. Keep it simple and find your support group. So I hope you enjoyed this video wherever you're at in your life right now, whether you're in a rock bottom or maybe you've been in a rock bottom, or maybe you're in the middle stage right now. It gave you clarity, it gave you some tips and tools that you can take with you. And yeah, thank you for watching. Sending you all the love on your journey, and we'll talk to you in the next one.